but they also have team members from Austria. And Agora Media from Moldova, hands-on project, Alex Gurdila. Media Blend Hackathon is a project within a bigger project called Media Innovation Europe that International Press Institute is conducting with several international partners. So within this project, we have 2 hackathons. This is the first of 2 that was aiming to develop tech solutions to media problems, which is, if you ask me, quite a big goal and quite an ambitious one, because first of all, journalists are not really tech people, so they had to go very interdisciplinary and find tech support, tech team members to help them develop their ideas into something that's actually working. Well, second of all, media problems are usually very big scale, right? So it's hard to tackle them with just one tiny, widget or plugin or something like that. But we took on the challenge anyway, and I think we had a good result at the end. Some of the projects are very techy, some are still more dependent on manual work of journalists, but nevertheless, I think you will be able to judge the result and give us the feedback we really need. So let's start with a presentation from Gwara Media. And the project, you can take the mic. I don't think that is.
How do we switch?
Do we have a clicker? Okay. So, I suppose the commercial is that we are part of the Media Innovation Festival, which is, by the way, the first time API is holding the festival. So welcome all. I hope we're a good part of it. We're still looking for clicker, I suppose. But I think meanwhile, no, I think don't think that is. You think so? That is the clicker. Yes, we found it. That was very close. Okay. Well, we need 2 minutes to prepare the presentation. I think Yaroslav can start introducing your own media company as a whole from Kharkiv. What is Gwara Media doing in Kharkiv?
Gwara Media is originally from Kharkiv, Ukraine, and it's we have our niche where we try to build some media which will be helpful to represent the news, the local news, everything that is going on within Kharkiv region. And yeah, currently we were the first who launched English version of local news, and we keep building. And another direction which we trying to build expertise on is fact checking. Yeah, I guess that.
So this project will actually be on fact-checking. We had a couple of projects on fact-checking. I think Mindbugs also had a fact-checking project. I mean, after all, misinformation is the biggest challenge of all yet. I think I'm running out of the commercials to run. Oh, we can start. We can start.
Yep, we can start?
Yep.
Cool, thank you. Hello again, Gwara team, as I already mentioned. We are media from Kharkiv, Ukraine. Yeah, and my name is Yaroslav, and it is my pleasure to introduce to you our chatbot Перевірка. So, in February 2022, when the war in Ukraine has started, people in Ukraine tried to be more active. They tried to... Okay, sorry about that. They tried to do something, to be helpful in any way. And that actually had an interesting side effect. For example, the picture on the left, you can see, so people were noticing windows which had this violet light, and they were calling police and authorities because they thought it might be some kind of signaling system or aiming system, and they were worried. But in reality, it was simply plant luminescence. So there were clear a demand for a place where people can ask questions that they are interested in. So within a week, we have built a Telegram bot which is intended to connect with users and to check information from them. For example, people start sending us some news from media that not very trustworthy. They can send something that they have heard somewhere. For example, elderly people can ask whether this lottery that they have won is really true. And if you think a little bit about it, this problem is not specific to Ukraine or to war. There are a lot of fields and topics that are blooming with fakes and misleading information. For example, COVID pandemic, every election in every country, some economic events, I don't know, cryptocurrency or something. So we realized that this small tool became a product. And over the year, we got more than 80,000 verified news. We got more than 10,000 active users who communicate with our bot on a regular basis. We are spotting waves of disinformation and raising awareness of people about fakes. And currently, we want to give a little boost for our solution with artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence will help us to solve very simple but very important problem as text matching. Because usually people are interested in the similar stuff. So news go like different media publish different news in other wording, but they basically have the same context. And human can spot this similarity, but also can AI. And introducing AI to this feature will help us to improve efficiently for journalists and researchers that work behind the scene of this bot. It will increase our capacity to process more requests. And yeah, and it opens an ability to process messages in different languages. So what can we offer to other media? For a price of 2,000 euros, we can set up this tool that we already have and teach how to use it. And the media can start already communicating with their customers and readers. So they will send information. You will get like new channel of receiving information, a way to do some functional work and to fight fakes actually. Also, over the year, we have built a significant expertise in fact-checking, so we can do training courses, which we have done multiple times and in Ukraine. Speaking a little bit of market and industry, there is the market there, total available market there is over 1 billion euro. And according to our approximate calculations, 250,000 euros is an obtainable market. So these are media we are speaking about that can afford buying and using this tool and building this information. Yeah. We also have learned about our competitors. Here is a comparison, but we see our obvious advantage as multi-language support and ability to expand to other platforms. So currently we support Telegram and Viber, but we have plans to expand it to WhatsApp, Facebook, and many other platforms that might be popular in your country. So in order to kick off, we need 1 month and 5,000 euro, and this will help us to implement those features that I already described to you. And having another number and 1 year, that will help us to build a bigger outreach, to implement new platforms, and to add more features to this tool. Yeah, and the most valuable thing we have is our team. Every member of our team has at least experience in fact-checking, but over the years we have built an expertise. We were approved by an international fact-checking network. Yeah, sorry. And yeah, I guess that is all. Thank you so much. I'm ready to answer questions.
Any questions? I think you can share a mic.
What do you know about these 40,000 of users? How many times they have used your solution? Like, are they loyal? Are they not? Like, what are the projections? And yeah, what are you fighting for?
Yeah, these are users that have at least once have used our solution. So, sorry. Ah, here it is. Yeah, so there definitely are different kind of users. So as I mentioned, 10,000 those who are communicating with us on a regular basis. We don't know much about them, but we suspect that they might be other journalists. They might be simply curious people because we receive different kind of requests, not only news, but something that people are interested in, like celebrities, or I don't know.
All right, thanks.
Hello, thank you for your presentation. I think it was a little bit quick for me. Can you guide me through your business model again?
Yes, sure. So as I mentioned, we have this tool which already proved to be effective in Ukrainian media. It is working, it's gaining results. Like people know it, so people use it. So we are offering this tool for other media to start up them in their country, in their media, to start to do this fact-check work. So in a nutshell, it might be similar to maybe a CRM system or something. So the goal of this tool is to connect readers with the publisher, with the team of journalists who will help to verify news, to answer questions that people might have. Because people are curious by nature. So.
And do the journalists need to have any technical competencies to use the bot?
It was designed specifically, so for the first version we have chosen a Telegram platform because it was popular at the time in Ukraine, and it is easy so people use Telegram, they don't need to learn how to install some application. It's an easy to go solution. And I know that in the other countries, other platforms might be popular. And from the journalist perspective, we also have simple interface which can, so we can teach a person to use this interface within a day, to give it a small training, and it is built specifically to solve this problem, so to make it easier.
And do you already have customers?
Sorry?
Do you already have customers?
Yes, we have collaboration with one Ukrainian media. I'm sorry, I don't remember its name.
and how is the feedback?
Sorry?
How is the feedback from this customer?
What is the feedback? What do they say?
I got the question, I'm thinking about it. So they are using it on a regular basis. We agreed that they will verify the information that they get from different sources via our tool. So our journalists help journalists of that media to keep the information trustworthy.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and congratulations on being the winner in Hackathon. Yeah, we're very proud of you. I know Gwara Media actually from a very vast portfolio of products that you do. I know that you do documentaries, so can you brief a little bit more about other products that you do besides Перевірка bot?
Yes, sure. It is indeed true that we have fact-checking is one direction of our expertise. We have performed multiple projects. One of them is to create this documentary about war crimes that were committed in Kharkiv region. We have our internet site. We have Twitter, Instagram, where we publish latest news. I'm sorry, maybe I'm not the best person to answer the question, but I'm actually a technician.
Okay, thank you, Yaroslav. I think we'll get to a bit more questions in the end if we have time. But for now, thank you very much, and they'll probably switch to Mindbox, right? Yeah, Okay, no, we're switching to the other team. So I'm happy to introduce to you the team from Moldova, Agora Media. They have a project called Hands-On. And there you go, Alex, please.
Hi, my name is Alex. I'm the general producer at Agora and one of the hands on this project. It's called Hands-On, and it's basically a gamification as a service for media. What we are trying to do is we have kind of in a Captain Obvious kind of way discovered that social media is eating up our marketplace. People are not reading the news on our website, they're reading it on Facebook and on all the other platforms that are out there, including TikTok. And Nielsen, in 2022, they actually said that social media is now the second most popular source of news behind television, and actually people in just 1 year are consuming 20 minutes less of traditional content websites a day. So it's a trend that's affecting all of us in a very big way, which is why we have found, we think we found a solution, and we're pretty excited about it, because Hands-On will actually answer this question of how can we increase engagement on the publisher's website. And according to our initial estimates, we will be able to increase the ad revenue by about 15%. And Hands-On is actually just a simple plug-and-play solution. It allows any publisher, small, medium, or large, to integrate this tool and increase engagement through gamification. The way it works is pretty much very simple. We use the data collection that we get from, let's say, Washington Post. It could be the page views, it could be what the reader's reading, what he does or she. Does he interact with the comment section? Does he do posts? Does he do reactions? Or if the publisher has already tried any sort of gamification tools before. We get it through APIs, and then our output is actually gamifying almost anything that a publisher would want. So, for example, you can have leaderboards. You can value users by their rank. You can do content ranks, badges. You can give experience. The main factor that we have is why is it gamified? Is actually we're trying to give a user or a reader or a consumer specific experience points for every action that they do on the website. So basically, the more news you read, the more you advance in your level and the more rewards you get. And obviously, that would also entail limiting some stuff that they could do. So for example, if you take an emotional reaction, we would allow unregistered users to have 3 reactions, but registered users 4 reactions or 6 reactions. So obviously, the person would want to get to be able to do more reactions. And here is we have a demo for The Guardian, how our tool will actually integrate into the website. It's as you can see, it's a very native integration. It's part of a Formula One article, and we have, through our tool, we have discovered that John likes to read Formula One news, and we have came up with this message that if he wants to get a F1 badge next to his name, all he has to do is read 5 more news about Formula One. Then he could share it with his friends, and the badge would be a starting point. He could eventually get to become a higher ranked reader of The Guardian. The next one is a game of bingo. So what we did is, you're actually going to see the technical part of how it works. Is it starting? Nope. You would see the technical part of how it works. Let's see, maybe the website will show it. Basically, the game of bingo is we will take Putin's speech at the end of the year, his annual speech, and the user, the consumer would try to guess the words that Putin would say in his speech. That means that if he guesses those words, he gets points. If he submits his bingo, he gets points. I know why it's happening. You can disregard this. So one of the scenarios that we have is actually what I've mentioned before. It's badge hunting, it's game of prediction, it's a game of bingo, it's emotional reactions. It's hundreds of actual gamification tools that we can implement on any website. And the business model is pretty simple. Like I said, we're spreading it through 3 different tiers. It's for a small publisher, a medium publisher, and an established one, ranging from 200 euros a month to 999 euros a month. And the question that we got on the first day was, how would a publisher actually get through this whole process? If they approach you, what would be going on? So we took the example of Delphi, a Baltic news media, who is currently, let's say, posting news about the election. What they want to do is they want the readers to read more stuff about the election in order to increase their voter literacy, right? Because the more, I guess, smart voters you have, the better the outcome of the election. So they come to hands-on, and we suggest to them using predictions, a literacy leaderboard, and badges, ranging from first-time voter all the way to master of elections. So the user reads more election news, he becomes more informed about what's going on, gets the badge, and he's incentivized to earn more badges so he can have it and talk to his friends, which eventually increases page views and obviously ad revenue. So this is basically a closed circle of engagement from the publisher to us, to the user, and back. The growth strategy is a 2-year plan. We would develop the product by spring. We would release the beta then, and followed by a full release in fall. And we expect by 2025 to be cash positive and break even, and actually be a business that would be growing fast. I'm not going to go over the budget and funding because I hate Excel, and I think everybody does. But the main thing you have that is on the screen is to the left of it, which is the amount of the investment required in order to kickstart this project and ensure that everything that we're trying to implement will actually happen. What's up with the market? So there were previous attempts at using gamification tools. One of the problems of these attempts was that they were specific for basically one-time uses, or it was just one tool. In our case, we are suggesting an entire suite of tools that you can implement at just a monthly subscription. You don't have to develop it yourself. You don't have to think about the code. You don't have to do anything. You pay us the monthly subscription, and we arrange everything for you to have. And this is our team. This is the website where you can find us. It's handson.social, and I'm open for any questions.
Thank you.
Hello, thank you for your presentation. I was wondering if you, if the media companies already collected this data, or is it you who've collected for the first time?
We collected from the media. By installing this tool, we already get that data of what's going on their website.
And do they have any further interest to make something out of this data?
No.
No.
We only use it as
the media company, the customer. Do they have other interests in this data? Do they can make something out of it?
The media
next to the gamification for the end consumer.
It's hard to understand the last part of your question. I'm sorry. Because
do the media companies can make something out of this data, but the gamification, beside the gamification for the end consumer?
Well, it's up to them because it's their data, right? We're not a data gathering service. We're not selling it. We don't even care who the user is, basically. We're just getting the data that the publisher already has, and we're using it to turn it into a tool and give it back to the publisher. So it's personalized for each publisher. What they want to do with it is completely up to them.
The data they're talking about is not any specific data for gamification. That's the data that every publisher is using every day in their planning, content production, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you can have something like a second product to use this data to prepare it for the company, for the customer, that they can use. I don't know, maybe exert some other information from this data.
You mean use the data to make money and stuff? No, that's not our interest. It's a good question, but we are providing the tool. It's anonymous for us, right? We don't know what's going on, and their data that they have is already available to them through analytics and stuff. It's not something new.
And you mentioned the Kickstarter campaign. Did I hear it right? A Kickstarter? No. Okay. What was the financing process?
Yes, we would need 35,000 euros to kickstart to start this entire thing. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, to develop it. It'll take 2 years to develop it.
Okay.
We have
Because I
one
was,
more question
wondering.
down there.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks. I had some questions that were already answered, but one thing that interests me is a bit more specific. Is like, how do you know that the Formula One reader has actually read the articles you are asking them to read in order to get the points? I mean, is there a way that you can actually calculate the amount of time they spent on it that is necessary to read it? So we are avoiding the, I'm going to get the point and I'm not going to read it attitude. That's one. And what is the turnaround time from, like, in my head, gamification is something that's like, oh, I'm not going to read something and something's going to happen that's reacting to what I'm doing on that particular media. So is it something quick, or is it, like you said just a second ago, 2 years that it takes to implement this tool? But how updated it is for the consumer's experience, i.e. it changes, so, you know, I don't know if it makes sense to you.
If I got the first question right, is any website pretty much knows where you're coming from when you're reading an article. So if you are reading Formula One news, it will automatically suggest you're reading more Formula One news. In our case, we collect that data to suggest them to read more Formula One news to get a badge. So we're...
How do you know they actually read it? I'm asking because I work with children who tend to cheat on these things. And I assume that users who are prone to gamification will also go for the points rather than actually doing their homework. I'm now using these children's terms.
That's a very good point. We actually saw on another website where they have this small kind of gamification where it has a wheel that measures you reading it, but in their case, it was, even if you scroll this quick, it will measure as you've read it. In our case, we'll implement specific formulas where we would have a timeline of how long it would take you to fully read an article, right? Or we can actually use our other gamification tools like a poll to ask him if, look, if you want to get this badge, tell me what you read. Was this in there? Yeah, so we can implement a system of checks and balances for this. You know, because our goal is to promote reading. It's fun for the user. But at the same time, we want to make our readers be more engaged and more enjoy the news, right?
I have one quick question because we are...
It's a quick question. How are you so sure that it's fun for the reader? Like, have you tested it? Like what's the assumption there?
I'll give you an example. Most Eastern European media have Telegram channels where they put their news up. And when we started using polls, for fun, to see what people, if people will engage with it. And the more polls we did, the more engagement we would get. So people love when they're asked what their opinion is. People love it when they have a feeling that they are creating the news with you. So it's a teamwork, basically. And another example is there's big companies nowadays that actually have this gamification as a business model. It goes from virtual cycling all the way to Candy Crush, right?
Yep.
Because if you want to do some things, you cannot get there until you play by my rules. And our rules would be read more news.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Alex. And now we're moving on to Joanna from Mindbox. Mindbox is a team from Romania, and they're also and Austria, and they're also working on a fact-checking project. But it's bigger scale, and, well, good luck.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you all for coming. So, first of all, in order to understand our project, I will start with what I feel is going on. Like, first of all, you look at all this information that is happening around. It has all these different topics, subjects, and when you try to wrap your mind around what is happening around, you get these long and technical debunking explanations. Nevertheless, this information is said to be false information, which is deliberately spread and organized to deceive people. But how is actually this information so organized? Because right now we do not monitor, quantify, or track these attacks. Why? Well, because knowledge is lost and is sparse. There is no shared place for journalists to share or analyze their work. The fact-checking journalists spend too much time finding insights that other journalists have already discovered. And old fact checks and disinformation attacks are not valued, are not accessible to everyone, and most of all are not visually correlated in any way. I'm introducing you Mindbugs. We unite artists, journalists, and programmers against misinformation. We propose a tool that is a space where information is shared and trustable, and it makes it easy to monitor, interpret, and navigate through fact checks and disinformation attacks. But these buzzwords seems like it's complicated and only for specialists. How easy it is actually to use our tool, and what are the steps? First of all, you open the program and you see that there is this universe of fake information that is connected. It has been analyzed by AI. You find this new disinformation statement and you just want to analyze it. So it's really easy because you have to click the green button in the corner. Once you click this green button, you just add the disinformation statement that you are interested in and press Analyze. The tool automatically takes the statement into a context and connects it with different disinformation statements that were before. It extracts the narrative, the topic, and it shows you what kind of entities were under attack by disinformation in the past. So you can really have a look into the structure of how misinformation look like. Also, you can take a look into different charts. You can see the points of origin, the evolution of the attacks, the geographical locations that were targeted, and how they evolved in this time. Well, now that we have this AI tool to empower the work, the debunks that journalists write are not anymore these long and technical explanations. You can make them so much more because you can allow the user to explore with you the structure of this information. So how would they look? First of all, you can allow users to see the frequency of the attacks on certain topics, entities, or with certain narratives. Then, you can also allow them to interact with this map of geographical location of the attacks. All these kind of charts are exported from our platform and allow the user to understand more. Then you can also select some of these nodes that you've seen before in order to help your users go into this structure. You can export them and allow the user to drag the nodes, to look where the nodes are connected with other nodes, and to look at disinformation attacks and to understand how are they organized. A quick overview of why this tool would be an amazing added value. First of all, as I said before, this is a shared knowledge between journalistic organizations. It speeds up the fact-checking process and it reduces redundant work. Also, it lets you explore the hidden structure of disinformation and the evolution of disinformation attacks, the place of origin, how they spread, and the timeline. In terms of pricing, we have different prices depending on different features. And this pricing have also a free trial for the organization to test our product. The funding we need to continue the MVP is 50K, but we started our MVP a few months ago, so part of what I've shown you is already implemented, part we still need to implement. We have a team with different backgrounds, so from machine learning, full stack, journalistic experience, and artistic experience. We try to take all these strong points and integrate them into our product in order to create something useful for our community and something insightful. We are empowering journalists with artificial intelligence. I know that all of you work in this area, and I would like to ask you to join your databases with us in order to unite against disinformation. We can take all data that is not valuable for you anymore and give it an extra layer of value. So please scan the QR code and let's chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. Do we have any questions?
Here?
Yeah,
Hi.
go ahead.
Yeah, may I? My name is Javier Luque. I'm the head of digital communications at IPI, but also I'm working on a project on investigating disinformation and decoding the playbook, especially targeting journalists in Europe. And we're working precisely with some technologies that are similar to the one that you just suggested. What I found very interesting is how you can connect actually a node to a context quickly. That's a very smart, advancement and development that I haven't seen in many tools. My question is, how do you approach this context? What are the variables that you take into account to be able to put everything in context? Because I'm just saying, one of the main challenges that I find is what are the, how to group these sentiment, like negative sentiments and the positive sentiments and so on, and then produce a context like that, and then extract, like a narrative from all that. Having said that, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much for your insight. I would love to chat about your solution too. I'm super interested in what are you guys doing. So I really hope that I understood the question correctly. We use the knowledge graph because it's a very human way of representing the data, because in our mind we just connect this information with this information and we say, oh, look, that's a link. So this is why we use a graph, because I feel like my thoughts are also a graph. Then we take this information statement and we analyze. We have multiple AI models. We extract sentiment, we extract topic. We want to also integrate it with maybe Chat GPT and extract some more about this. So we just extract all this data, and then we connect it with, so there is also, like, for example, sadness, right? There is already a node of sadness, and we just connect this new disinformation statement that it's sad with the node of sadness, or with the topic it's about, and so on. Then, in order to only show the relevant information, because there may be 5,000 disinformation about sadness, right now we are thinking about doing the similarities, like how similar the disinformation is, because there is sentence similarity. Even though you use different words, AI models can know that you refer to almost the same thing or very close. I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Yeah, completely does. Yeah, I was also interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, my name is Ken Choi. I'm an editor from Chosun Daily newspaper in Korea. We are running AI back in Korea, and it took us about 8 months to see if the AI is doing the right thing or not. We were sort of tracking it down. I'm just wondering, any of you, how long have you tried to verify the AI is doing the fact check correctly, and what's the sort of a failure rate, if there is any, and how you augmented all these defects or whatever?
Yeah. So if you guys are okay, I will start with that. First of all, I think that AIs that do automatic fact checks are like a big ethical problem. We do not do that. What we do, we help journalists do fact checks by extracting relevant information and giving them all the information in different contexts, but it's always the journalist's decision how it uses that how he or she uses that information. So we just empower the journalist. We do not replace them, and we do not want to do that.
There is not much to add. We also did our try and fail and realized that artificial intelligence at this point is bad at fact-checking. So you do not delegate such kind of a task to it, but we can use it as an instrument to help journalists.
Well, any other questions to Joanna? Yeah, we have somebody here.
Due to the glitches with the presentation, I don't know if I correctly caught up the the thing you mentioned, and then I took the photo and checked. You said that you've integrated a, hold on now, I want to read it, that you integrated AI text matching decision in the chat box.
Yes, that is correct.
Maybe I didn't catch it, but can you give me a bit more details about, how you did it and how was it put to purpose? Because I think this is probably the key element, maybe of innovation here, because you have the AI kind of checking something. Yeah.
Yes, sure. So it's again, it's not news that information in the internet is not unique, and people describe the same events, but they describe it in a different way. So our solution intends to. We have, as we process requests basically manually with dedicated journalists who verify this information, write requests to government if needed. But we want to utilize that database that we already have. So every request we receive, we save it, and we also save our response. So when before this AI solution, we had like exact match, which is bad because even if the wording is the same, but at the end of the message there will be some link like follow us. The program will not recognize that this is basically the same message. But artificial intelligence like ChatGPT, it's pretty good for getting a context from a message. So does this answer your question?
Yes.
Thank you.
I think the time's a bit up for us, but I have one philosophical question to all the panelists that is about the future, right? As startuppers, we always think, well, what's the next big thing for us, right? So my question is, what's the next big thing for you? What is the next problem in journalism you would want to solve? Or what is the next project you have in mind? I understand that is a big ask, but at this point it can be just an idea or a problem statement, whatever you guys feel like. Anyone can go first.
Yeah, I guess there is some. I realized that I probably missed it in my presentation because, like this artificial intelligence solution that we will implement in our tool, it will open a whole new level of tasks that we can solve, like automatic evaluation of trustworthiness of certain channels. So we can like use our database. You can check existing channel and verify that okay, this channel has like 90% of fakes that we have spotted. So yeah, and so we're considering spotting waves of disinformation in this kind, spotting networks of channels that are used by propaganda and spreading fakes. That is for us.
Well, for us, it would be actually continuing our work because at any basic level, a human being likes to play. So there's a lot of activities that we are doing every day that take away the play element from what we're doing. So for us, the next big thing would be to actually find specific uses for all different kinds of the concept of games that we had growing up and implementing it into whatever traditional content creators or websites or publishers have in order to have this, I guess I could say, go bold and say ecosystem of gaming, not as seen, as a way to relax or as a way to waste some time, even though time wasted well is not wasted. We need to find ways in which reading the news, becoming more informed, is staying with the people that create it, and not with other businesses that grow because of what we're doing.
Yeah, for me, I think I've always been interested in like understanding how things work. I feel like a lot of people just assume they know how things work, but actually for me it's super complicated. I don't understand a lot of things, and I think that there is too much information out there. And what I'm passionate about is the use of artificial intelligence in getting the truth out of it, like having this superpower to analyze everything that is happening around you. This is like the newest thing and super useful and super insightful. So in terms of our business, I think we will continue doing our best to give people insights about what is happening around there without our subjective opinion, but with the use of big data that can look into everything. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for your answers. I think that's all fair points. I think we all know that journalists, unfortunately, are pretty behind on tech. Unlike many other industries, we're just starting, just making our first steps. It's pretty awkward often. But I think, well, thanks to the guys like you who are doing their best with the limited capacity and limited resources to develop new tools, I think we are moving forward. I think I personally really appreciate that. I'm also managing a media company. I'm actually considering buying all of the tools, but I would want discounts. Anyway, I think you can find more clients here. I also would want to say that we have a couple of other team members from these teams, but also from the other teams in the room. So I see quite a bunch of our hackathon participants. Please feel free to talk to them. There is, for example, I see a team that was working on an AI editor support called European Correspondent. The tool called, what's OneScribe? OneScribe, right. One of my favorite projects. Sorry, I'm biased. I don't see many other people, but I'm sure they're around, so please be open to talk to them and give them your advice. And thank you very much, and thank you for your presentations, guys. Thank you.